LinkedIn business pages. We all have a sense that they exist. We have a sense that we probably should be using them better than we use them. But one thing that I've found is that not many people, and I include myself in that, know how to use these strategically. And that's why I was really kind of selfish in my guest choice for today. I asked Michelle Raymond to join us so that she could give us an expert's idea about how we use LinkedIn business pages. So, Michelle, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
You are absolutely welcome, Erica. And don't worry if your listeners are thinking, yeah, what are those LinkedIn pages things? That's probably the majority of people. I'm probably one of the rarities. So I appreciate being able to have this conversation because I think there's a real opportunity for people to leverage their page a little bit better. And I've got a few cool tips that I'm going to share today about how you can do that, even if it's never going to be your actual priority on LinkedIn. But there are ways that it can help you grow your personal brand as well. So I can't wait to share.
Oh, that's so juicy. I love that. So let's start at a high level. What exactly is the LinkedIn business page and how does it differ? I mean, most of us, when we think of LinkedIn, we think of our own personal profile. So how does the LinkedIn business page differ from what we're typically going to think about?
Yeah, so when you go onto LinkedIn, you're right. Most of us set up a LinkedIn profile, probably gone for a job on LinkedIn at some stage in the past. And ultimately, we do all of our efforts on our LinkedIn profile. And then there's this thing called company pages. And with company pages, when you go on there, imagine if you have a business, so that can be a business, a not-for-profit, a government organization, a university, all kinds of different organizations can set up a company page and think about it as the place where, as a company, you build your company brand. So different to building your personal brand over on your profile, but ultimately, when you look at the features, there's a lot of crossover. So the only main difference is, and I've got to get this one out early, otherwise people won't listen for the rest of the show. If you are someone that is sitting there shaking your head going, they're a waste of time because you don't get as many reach and impressions. So if I was to do a post on my company page or a post on my profile, chances are every day of the week, if I post on my profile, even if there's the same number of connections and followers, it will get seen by more people. So historically, people have said company pages are a waste of time. Don't bother with them. Do all of your effort over on your personal profile, which in theory sounds great. And I definitely don't disagree with that. That is the facts. But ultimately, why I think company pages are important, especially if you have employees, is what if you help that superstar employee build up their personal brand and you're doing so much effort through their account and you're getting more reach and impressions? What do you do, Erica, when they decide to leave the company? Because I've been that person. I built a community that was 5,000 strong. Nobody in the industry had one like it. And then what happened? I changed jobs and I took it with me, and the company I left had nothing to fall back on. And so I want people to start looking at going, yes, this is how we can use our profiles. And yes, we may get more reach and impressions, but there's this whole other side of LinkedIn called company pages. If we cut that off, it's a missed opportunity. Just think about it. Yes, you won't get the same amount of impressions in general. And I'm talking, kind of like for like, but ultimately there's so many other ways that you can use it. And I can't wait, as I said, to share a bit more about that.
And it's interesting that you said that, because what I thought you were going to say when you started talking about why, even though it might get more likes than impressions, the direction I thought you were going to go in is yes, but if we as business owners do our job well and we promote not ourselves, but our organization, and then somebody comes to LinkedIn wanting to know more about our organization, they're not necessarily going to look for Erica Dickstein. They're going to look for Spring Insight. And even if we don't get as many people who do that, those are really motivated viewers. So one of those viewers is worth, 20, 40, 50 people who are just sort of casually looking on LinkedIn and see your.
Yeah, absolutely. They are high intent viewers. They are the ones that possibly discovered your LinkedIn company page over on Google. So maybe they cross paths with your business somewhere else. They did a search, they go to Google, of course your website comes up. It's not going to say anything bad about your business, right? Like no one's website in the history of websites has ever said we're a pretty rubbish company to work with. Like, let's be clear, that's not going to happen. So how else can I find out about you? Because we're all good at researching / professional stalking, call it what you want. So because LinkedIn's a trusted platform, it's the platform where you come to do business, then it's really favored by Google as well. So your LinkedIn company page typically will come up in probably the first couple of results after your web page. Now, if I'm doing my research, I want to find out more, I'm literally clicking on that, going across to your company page and having a look around. Now, what am I finding? Are you rolling out the red carpet for me and creating a great impression? Or is it the proverbial ghost town with tumbleweeds where I wonder if your business is even open anymore? And so we really must control, impression that we're giving out to those high intent visitors. And the other thing is think about your company page more as a destination that people are coming to do that research rather than something that's showing up in the feed as much as personal posts. So you quite often don't know people are visiting and they may not engage with your content, but be sure to know that they are making a mental note of everything that they're finding or possibly not finding, which can be more a problem.
Such a great point. So right now we're talking about sort of the obvious in terms of what small businesses or subject matter experts get wrong. The obvious is, well, they just don't use it at all, or they set it up and it becomes, as you so eloquently put it, a digital ghost town. But what are some other things that you see subject matter experts or our audience, government contractors, and other subject matter experts? What are some ways that you see that going awry?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. Mostly they get ignored, and if you've got a time poor subject matter expert that has a choice about where to spend their time on LinkedIn, then every day of the week I'm telling them go and post content through your personal profile. Hands down, you won't get any arguments from me. But here's the thing. If you want to grow your personal profile, you can actually use your company page to help you do that. And for some people, I remember when I was starting out, it was just me and my business. I was brand new. I think that was when you and I first crossed paths many years ago. And, nobody knew who I was. Nobody, kind of knew the company that I'd set up. And so what I started to do was build some followers on my company page and start to build that brand. And so every time I posted, my company page was my number one cheerleader. And it was coming across, liking my posts, commenting on my posts. Sometimes now we can repost things and really just connecting those two and leveraging it, because nobody goes to a company page and says, that company's only got one person in it. No, you look exactly the same size as massive corporations. You get access to all the same features. And so it can really strengthen your brand. So everybody talks about employee advocacy. So that's about getting employees to talk about the brand. So I like to flip it and I like to talk about page advocacy. And it's time for the page to support the individuals to build their brand. So it's the other way around. So it becomes your biggest cheerleader. And this is what I want to say to people. It's not static. Stop trying to worry about whether it's showing up in the feed or not. There's so much more to brand building, and brand is where you build demand. And it's so powerful that if you just, zoom out for a minute and stop looking and focusing on one little area called impressions, you can see that there's a much bigger opportunity. And there's probably one more. Quite often when I've worked with subject matter experts, often introverted experts that don't like the spotlight on them. So there's the general tendency on LinkedIn to say, everybody go and post on your profile, and an assumption that everybody wants to do that. Now, we know that the stats are 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 people that will never do that. So what do? You can actually find that quite often they're more comfortable posting over on the brand page because it's not their name going out. So I also like to think it's like the training wheels to help people build up their confidence until they can come out from behind the logo, and everybody starts in different places on LinkedIn. So if that's a way to help someone get started, or you can get some help with a third party to manage your page for you, I've helped so many businesses with that. We start on the page with a plan to getting employees eventually coming out from behind the curtain and sharing their voices, but it's not that easy. So if you're someone that's sitting there going, yeah, I know I should. Erica's always telling me I should be out there, I should have a presence, but the thought of it just makes me want to rock in the corner. And this can be another way that people can get started. So hopefully that's a couple of different ways to look at company pages that will help some of these experts.